What is up, team? Welcome back to the Red Storm Rapid Reaction Podcast. I'm Pat Kane. Thanks for joining me again. St. John's moves to 2-0 in the early part of the non-conference schedule. Again, a lackluster opponent, this time Lafayette. St. John's wins 83-68. Again, perhaps a lackluster performance in many regards, but a 15-point win nonetheless. St. John's was up 34-32 at the half, and in that first half, there were some issues that could be reoccurring problems. We saw some open threes in game one against Merrimack. We obviously saw a bunch of open threes given up to opponents last season as well. That's something that we wanted to see short up quite a bit. And in the first half, Lafayette was 8 for 17 from three. 24 of their 32 points came from three. Eight is a high number for a half, obviously. I'm not saying anything that you guys don't know. 46% from three is a great percentage. Again, not saying anything you guys don't already know. I will say we did do a great job of limiting looks inside the arc. That probably goes both ways. They were looking to shoot threes. We were taking away looks from inside. They did have a handful of looks that were too good. Okay, so I'm not trying to alleviate any blame from ourselves. Like I said, giving up 8 threes is too much. A couple of those were difficult shots, well contested shots that Lafayette was able to hit. The good thing was in the second half, we tightened up on the perimeter. We didn't give them nearly as many good looks from three, although they still did hit 6 of 18 in the second half. We tightened things up. We were able to push the lead out to 10 points, and we kind of coasted from that point on. But in the first half, we didn't shoot well ourselves. We were 39% from the field. We were 5 from 12 from three. We were only 6. We were 6 for 11 from three. We were only 5 for 17 from two. So we did not do a good job finishing inside the paint or looking to exploit our size advantage, which we did do much more of in the second half. So the first half left a lot to be desired. Offensively, we were not crisp. We did shoot the ball well from three. That's not something we're sure that we can count on, moving forward. So it could be some fool's gold early on. So in that first half, you only had a 2-point lead against a team that's picked last or close to last in their conference, and we know Lafayette is not expected to be a powerhouse in any regard. In the second half, like I said, we were able to get a 10-point lead, tighten things up on the perimeter defensively. We might have been up by as many as 17 points at one point. They hung around, got it to within 8 points a couple times. We didn't seem too interested in putting our foot on the gas or their foot on their necks and really finishing this game off. That's one thing that happens, and this is a negative when it comes to having a schedule that's filled with some cupcakes, and a majority of cupcakes early on is players like Posh and Curbelo might not be as up to play against these teams. They're used to playing against good competition. They want the higher stakes. So it's twofold. You want to play against good competition to prepare yourself for the tough conference schedule you'll see in Big East play, and you also want to give your guys something to look forward to and to get themselves up for. And not that they shouldn't be up for every game, but that's how it is. They're human beings. They get up for bigger competitions more so than smaller competitions. Some positives for the game: we took care of the ball much better than we did last game. We had only 10 turnovers compared to the 29 we had first game. Obviously, that 29 is probably going to be an outlier for the season, but it wasn't a good sign to see how careless we were tonight. We had a much more concerted effort to take care of the basketball. Our guards in particular weren't as sloppy. Posh and Curbelo combined again for 12 assists. This time they only had 3 turnovers between the two of them. Last game one, they had 10 turnovers between the two of them, so that's good to see. Again, we had a good night from the free throw line, 17 for 20. And I believe that makes us 31 for 36 on the season. So that's a good sign. No matter who you're playing against, you want to be able to hit your free throws. We have seen that come back to rear its head against us multiple times. If you're a St. John's fan, more than a few times. We had another good night from three. We were 10 for 20. Again, tonight it was Wusu who really led the charge there. Good to see him get going. Hopefully it's a balanced attack, kind of a by committee attack. We have enough guys who are threats and have to be guarded. and we have some guards in Posh and Curbelo who can find those guys when they're open, and we pick our spots well, and we're able to just hang around in terms of a 3-point team. I don't think we're going to break any records, but hopefully we're not a team where it's such a liability it holds us back from having success. And then in the second half, we did go inside a lot more, especially early in that second half. We looked to Soriano a bunch. And I would have liked to see it early on in the first half, obviously, but that's something at least we pointed to at halftime. The coaches obviously drew something off and came back in the second half, and they made a concerted point to get the big man touches, and he capitalized by getting some early baskets in the second half and pushing that lead out to 10 points. And we had 29 bench points again. So bench unit, and not as much minutes as they had in game one, still had some good contributions. Wusu led the way with 14 points. Wusu led the way, I said. WWW. 29 bench points. Another positive there. Some negatives. Too many good looks from deep. Obviously, we've covered that already, but we gave up way too many good looks overall from three, and we gotta shore that up as the season goes on. No real direction or urgency in the first half offensive wise. Like I said, we were really poor from inside the perimeter. We didn't really have anything drawn up to get good looks. The threes we hit were kind of just standstill jumpers. They weren't off good movement or good inside out play. A lot of them were just catch, survey, and shoot. Nothing wrong with it, but it wasn't like we were creating great looks. We really got to shore up how we're going to get points when the game slows down in the second half. I thought we had some poor shot selection in the first half, some quick looks from three. Mathis took a quick three in the first half. Wusu took a three. The 1-3 he missed was just a nonsensical three, I thought. Posh took a pull-up jumper from long range 2 in the first half with no one underneath the rebound. Just some shots in the first half, I thought, led to some of the difficulties we had pulling away early. And then we didn't close the game out particularly well. Yeah, we kept them at arm's bay for the most part, but we could have really pushed that lead to 20 plus, I thought, and cruised to a victory. Got our bench some more minutes, some more opportunities, but we were kind of lackadaisical. There was a play real late in the game where Jones kind of didn't really look to push the ball up past half court. It was like a minute and a half left. Kind of was like facing the other direction, the other bench. Finally gets across half court, and we end up turning the ball. Curbelo scored real quick right at that point, and then Lafayette pushed the ball down the court off a layup, got an easy dunk. We should have been back in transition there. Minute and a half left. You got to close the game out. A better team will make you pay. But overall, we're 2-0. All right. Let's take a look at the box score. All right, I'm going to try something new here, guys, testing out my technology skills. Thanks to you guys for joining on YouTube. Who's ever watching now will be able to see this, the box score. Let's bring it up. Wow, look at this. All right, Jones led the way. He had 20 points. Another good shooting night for him. 2 for 4 from three, 4 for 5 from from the free throw line. He had a couple of nice drives, a couple of nice finishes, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 turnover. He's got a lot of offensive firepower. He's not shy in any sense. He was my guess in the preseason to lead the team in threes made. I think he'll definitely get every opportunity to have the most threes taken. He'll get the minutes, he'll get the opportunities, and he won't be bashful. Store, Wusu, Pinzone, who else might ever be in the running? Posh has yet to hit one this year. I thought he might be in the running this year. He's got some catching up to do early, but I think Jones will have the most consistent looks from three. Soriano, double-double, 13 points, 10 rebounds, did have 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 5 for 8 from the field, so another efficient night. We got to get him more looks. Got to get him more looks early on, even if he's not, putting up a shot every time he touches it. He draws a lot of attention. We can get some offensive sets off his touches. Don't have to wait to the second half to get him going. Posh didn't make a field goal. Not sure how many times that's happened so far in his career. Still had 6 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, and made an impact overall. We got to, he's not a guy who hunts his shots. I've said in the past, scoring isn't the thing that makes him great, but still, we're going to need him to be a consistent double figure, 12 to 16 point guy a night. And with that comes a game plan and a design and us pushing for him to get those looks and to make sure he doesn't go long stretches without taking shots. But tonight was one of those nights where it never really came for him on the offensive end. Curbelo, 10 points, 6 assists, only 1 turnover. Really good game overall from him. Had a couple nice drives and finishes in the second half. Overall, He's had a real good start to the season, I think. The Shades look is a cool look. I'm sure that will be talked about. Probably see some memes on Twitter about that. I don't know how you could play with shades like that, but whatever helps. They said it was something to do with his concussion and a headache, so whatever helps him play, that's good. He does do a good job of looking to feed the ball inside. He might have had that one turnover he had. He left his feet, which he seems to have a habit of doing. Left his feet, got himself in trouble in the paint, but he does always look to feed the guys in the post. And that is a nice added asset to this team. Mathis, the fifth starter, 5 points, 1 rebound. Not as good of a night offensively as he had in game one or during the exhibitions. 2 for 6 overall, 1 for 2 from 3. Like I said, I thought he took a rush 3 in the first half. The 3 hit in the second half. His feet were set. I still didn't think it was a great shot, but can't complain about shots that go in too much. Defense was, again, good. There was a couple threes that were hit in his face. So when you look back at the overall numbers, it's like, the 3 was hit when Mathis was guarding him. But overall, you can count on Mathis for playing good perimeter defense, especially comparatively to the rest of the guys on the team. The bench unit didn't get as much minutes this game as in game one. Stanley, 2 points, 2 rebounds. He had a nice catch, a nice finish in the second half. 1 for 1 from the field. Didn't bring much else to the game. Store, 8 points. He had 2 threes, had a nice drive and nice finish. Nothing else in the box score. No rebounds, no assists, no steals. Like to see him be active there. Like to see him try to get in the glass, get himself some cheap baskets, maybe a deflection or a steal. But the 8 points is good. He looks confident in shooting. Pinzone, another guy who looks confident out there, much more physical and ready to play than he was as a freshman. He's going after rebounds. He's being feisty on the defensive side. Still, I think he's behind Wusu and Mathis in that regard, sliding his feet and being a physical presence, but he's made some strides there, and he's got some offensive skill. I do think he's a little bit, predetermined to take his shot. A lot of the times you can see a couple seconds ahead, he's got in his mind it's his turn to make an offensive play. He does have some good skill there, some nice touch. I want him to get more comfortable out there, and so he can let the game come to him more. And Wusu was the star on the bench tonight, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 4 for 5 from 3. I think he hit 2 in each half. Good to see him going from there. Again, he'll be one of those handful of guys who will have to hit threes as the team gets going. We shot 52% from the field overall after 36 or 39% from the field in the first half. So we had a really good second half shooting performance, 10 for 20 from 3 overall. That's 50%. And then 17 for 20 from the line. So a good shooting night overall for our Johnnies. We're 2-0. We got another test, I think Central Connecticut, I want to say, is our next game. And then we'll play Nebraska after that. Nebraska will be our first power conference test. Obviously, we don't have to stress too hard. They are not expected to be good. That's a game you can't afford to lose, especially at home. But we should take this next game, go to 3-0, take care of business against Nebraska, get to 4-0, and then get going towards the real part of the out-of-conference schedule, where we'll see Temple, a team who just beat Villanova, and then hopefully those damn Syracuse Orange. But it's been good to see St. John's play some games. Still a lot to work on. Nothing looks absolutely great. I don't think anything looks absolutely horrible or unfixable. There's a lot of teams that are struggling early, a lot of teams that look good early. I saw Seton Hall look really, really good. I saw Providence and Georgetown not look great. It's a long season, a lot of ups and downs. What you got to do is win, take care of business, learn while you win. That's the key. All right, guys. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to those who have subscribed. We're almost at 50. We're really creeping up. You saw what we did here. All right, you guys that are listening in on the podcast, we got some technical aspects, really, really enhancing our show over here. Box scores, visuals, what will happen next, you got to find out. All right, so subscribe. Please keep tuning in. Let me know what you think. For Anthony Mason Jr., this has been Pat Kane, Red Storm Rapid Reaction Podcast. Peace.